What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is January 23rd and I got 3 official NBA player props that I'm going to analyze in today's video. But before we get into the video, we did go 3-1 last night, with our one loss being Amen Thompson hooking us at 17 points. All he needed was 3 points with like 17 minutes left in the game, including OT, and he only got us 2. He missed 2 free throws in the first half. Just a tough loss. I could smell the sweep, but to be fair, LeBron did come up clutch and kind of get a lucky cash for us. So yeah, 3-1 day, I'll take it any day of the week. That continues our insane run of 18 units in the last 2 weeks, which is insane. But yeah, let's keep it going in today's video. So my first play is in the Rockets-Pistons game, and I'm going with Jaden Ivey under 12.5 PA. Yes, I cannot believe this is at 10.5 already. I sent this out this morning at 12.5 PA, 2 winnable for free and to my VIP members. Let's just bump this up to 12.5. This is what I was looking at when I sent it out. This is a sneaky good look for an under here. Jaden Ivey was heavily favored to go under 2.5 assists this morning when I was looking at this prop. So when this was at 12.5, if he did end at 1 assist, we were basically taking his points prop that was at 9.5 at 11.5. And then if he finished with 2 assists, we'd be taking it at 10.5, which is still better than what his 9.5 points line was. Now it's bumped down to 8.5. And I said that's way too high of a line when Jaden Ivey's projected to play just 17 minutes tonight. Now, in games this season with Duncan, when Jaden Ivey has played, let's say, 15 to 21 minutes, because he has projected to play 17, he's played around that mark the last 3-4-ish games. So in games when he's played 15 to 21 minutes with Duncan, he's gone under in 12 out of 15 games, averaging just over 10 PA. And on top of that, like I said in his most recent games, he hasn't been seeing a ton of volume. Even when Cade was out in this game versus the Pelicans, he only took 5 shots and played 18 minutes. There's a crazy low total at 218.5 points. It's a really tough matchup versus the Rockets. So if he hasn't taken over 7 shots in his last 3 games, just to be safe, I'll set his ceiling to 9 shots. And if you guys just see, when he takes less than 9 or less shots, he's gone under in 11 out of 13 games. Bump that down to 8, 7. Once we get to 7 shots, which he has done in 3 straight games, he's gone under in all of these games, averaging 9.3 PA. And I got this at 12.5, so this is at 10.5, obviously. Now I sent it out to VIP and for free in Discord, whatever, at 12.5, like I said. But yeah, my first play was Jaden Ivey under 12.5 PA. But before we jump into the next pick, I do want to shout out PropsMadness. This is the best research tool for player props, NBA and NFL, on the market, in my opinion. Just the amount of filters that it has, it's so favorable for us in every way possible. You can really see how teams have been playing recently. You have shooting zones, shot types, similar players, play types, all this good stuff. So if you guys do want to use PropsMadness for yourself, make sure you use code NICK when you're buying it to get 25% off your first month. Now, my second play is in the Kings-Cavaliers game, and I'm going down to Domantas Sabonis, and I took him under 12.5 points. I got this at -125 on the score, or the old ESPN bet. This one will be a sweaty one, I will not lie to you guys, but Sabonis is projected to come off the bench and play just 21 minutes tonight. That's what he's kind of been sitting around since his return. But that means if he has a 12.5 points line, that basically means he'd have to score a basket like every 2 minutes or something, versus a Cavs defense that over their last, 15, whatever you want to look at, they're a top 4, top 3 team at defending the paint, which is where Sabonis scores 87% of his points per game. And since he's returned similarly to Jaden Ivey, he hasn't seen crazy usage. Took 6 shots, 3 shots, 8 shots. When I was looking at this, I set his ceiling to about 11 shots. I do feel like that is being generous. But when we look at games when Sabonis has taken we'll say 3 to 11 shots, because that's pretty much in his range with the high ceiling. He's gone under this in 5 out of 7 games this season, averaging 10.6 points per game. And like I said, 11 shot attempts is being generous in my opinion. But even if he does take around the 11 shot attempt mark, I don't expect him to be super efficient. Maybe he'll shoot like around 50% like he does in a lot of these games. And then if we scroll down, you can see similar centers have struggled recently to score 12 points versus the Cavaliers. Diabate, Nurkic, Rudy Gobert twice, Isaiah Stewart scored 8, Steven Adams scored 9. All these guys played 22 to 37 minutes and still struggled to score 12 points. So in a tough matchup, after Sabonis hasn't really seen a ton of usage or playtime, he'd have to have an insanely... Look, this just got bumped down to 11.5 as I'm recording this video. That's crazy. Still at 12.5 on FanDuel, but It might bump back up to 12.5 before game time. That's just crazy. You guys see right here. That's why it's important to subscribe to my Winnable right here. For just $5 a month, you can get VIP access to all my plays basically early. I do give a lot of my plays out for free, like I'm uploading this video right now, or I just post them in free for Discord or send them through Winnable. But VIP members do get my plays early a lot of the time because I am slowly getting more and more subscribers. So I do feel like I have to give them value for what they're paying for, but it is really just 5 months, so that in case you don't have $20, $50, $100 a month to spend on a subscription service on top of gambling, then come here and spend $5 a month and be up 22 units on the season. I feel like that's a pretty good deal. Then you can also use my code for PropsMadness and get 25% off. You guys are in the right place. But yeah, my second play is Domantas Sabonis under 12.5 points. Now my third and final official play is in the Nuggets-Bucks game, and I took AJ Green to grab 3 rebounds tonight. I got this at plus 105, I believe. I know just looking at the hit rate, it's below 50%, not very good. He's averaging 2.6 rebounds on the season, but if we look at games without KPJ, it's already almost at 3 rebounds on the season. This is a super low game total of 216.5 points. AJ Green is projected to play a team high 38 minutes, and 2 weeks ago he finished with 5 rebounds on 10 rebound chances in 37 minutes versus Denver. And over Denver's last 10 games, they've been terrible at rebounding without Jokic. So just to be safe, when we look at games with Giannis, without KPJ, and then we take out Taurean Prince as well, because he's been out for a while, AJ Green is averaging 3 rebounds per game. And then if we take out the games where he only played 25-ish, 26 minutes, he's gone over in 5 out of 5 games, averaging 4 rebounds per game. But what I really like about this look is AJ Green converts on a really high percentage of his rebound chances because he's young, he's a hustler, and a lot of his rebounds are high bouncing, weak side rebounds that he can just jump really high for with not much competition, not many other players going for those rebounds. And like I said, with this super low total, it's dropped 2 points since I posted this play. I do expect a lot of missed shots. And yesterday, we all know Giannis said he's fed up with the Bucks and that his teammates are playing selfishly and not hard enough, which honestly probably doesn't really include AJ Green because he's one of the guys that have stayed pretty solid, pretty consistent throughout the year, in my opinion. I know he has his ups and downs with shooting, but there's a reason Doc has him playing 38 minutes because that's one thing Doc is doing well, is playing AJ Green. But I'm expecting the Bucks to come out with some type of like extra fight or hustle tonight. And so for a guy who's playing almost 40 minutes, I think 3 rebounds is very reasonable. Troy Johnson grabbed 3 rebounds versus these guys. Sion James, 5. Jeremiah Fears grabbed 3. I think AJ Green can do it. So my third play is AJ Green over 2.5 rebounds. Now, my strongest lean of the day was SGA under 7.5 assists. I did say in Discord that it was a really strong lean of mine, but didn't lock it in, and then it got bumped down to 6.5 on every single book like 20 minutes later. So I do wish that I'd locked it in at 7.5. If this jumps back up to 7.5 before game time, I more than likely will be locking it in and posting it as an official play. Some other leans I liked were in the Celtics-Nets game, and I was looking at the big men here. It looks like Luka Garza's lines have really jumped. Before I was recording this video, they were a lot lower because Neemias Queta is listed as questionable now, but it's just a pretty good matchup for them. Derek White is out. I do think if Luke Garza sees minutes, he can easily go over this 14.5. This was at like 12, 13.5 PR earlier today, and just refreshing the minutes, it looks like he's projected to play 20. So I do like his lines. I like Queta as well. He's projected to play 26, even though he's feeling a little injured. Not terrible, just a good matchup. Like I said, centers have been doing pretty well versus the Nets. Some leans I liked in the Kings-Cavs game was Jarrett Allen under his 11.5 RA. I do think he struggles to grab rebounds versus Sabonis tonight, and Evan Mobley seems to be rebounding a little better than Jarrett Allen has been. Like the Hornets are a really good rebounding team, and Evan Mobley grabbed 14 versus Jarrett Allen grabbed 9. So I also think he struggles to get a couple assists tonight. He hasn't really been passing the ball, getting a lot of potentials. Without Sam Merrill, without Darius Garland, those must have been the guys that he gets a lot of assists to. I just didn't take the time to look into it. But I did like his under 11.5 RA. I know the Kings statistically are a pretty bad rebounding team, but like I said, Sabonis is back, and even though he's playing 21 minutes, and that's why we're on his under, I do think he could grab a lot of rebounds, but I just think he struggles to score. So yeah, another lean, Jarrett Allen, under 11.5 RA. This is probably a community play, but Jalen Tyson, 15 plus points, 15.5 points. I was looking at his 20.5 PR. I just can't bring myself to bet on him, man. I don't know why. There's just something about it. Like maybe Dean Wade steals a lot of his rebounds, or he just doesn't convert on a lot of his assists, or just plays bad. I don't really know. But it definitely is a pretty good matchup for him. He's gone over in every single game without Darius Garland and Sam Merrill. As of right now, this is just a lean for me. Another lean was Kevin Durant, 25 plus points over 24.5. You can get on FanDuel. But just looking at the Pistons, they play everyone one-on-one. KD had 18 free throw attempts in this game. That's insane. His volume was crazy. Without Tar Eason, without Steven Adams, he's gone over in all 3 games. KD said in this post-game press conference after he dropped 36 points and they lost that he was going to have to drop 35 every night. So if he does do that, I wouldn't be surprised. But the Pistons have a really good defense, and I already had Jaden Ivey's under 12.5 PA, so I just stayed away. No need to force anything. Another lean in this game was Duncan Robinson's 2.5 3-pointers. Just never really a bad look. This guy's such a streaky shooter. You might as well ride the wave while he's hot. But the Rockets are pretty good at defending, catch and shoot shots. But that hasn't seemed to matter for Duncan, so not a bad look again. I know we just cashed him a couple days ago. And then I also liked Amen under his, 17.5 points it was. He just struggles, like I said, versus one-on-one matchups. They're really good at defending the paint. He hasn't gone over this line versus the Pistons in his career versus brother. And I don't think he goes over it tonight. I also liked Cam Spencer's assist. This was at 7.5 last night. I wish I locked it in. I low-key might go lock in this 7.5 line for -144. I know that's pretty juiced, but there's a ton of value in that 7.5 line in my opinion. Yeah, guys, I'm locking that in. I'm putting 1 unit on Cam Spencer over 7.5 assists here. I know a lot of people are on his 8.5 at better odds, which is not a bad strat at all. But this was a lean for me because even in games without Edey, without Morant, Cam Spencer's projected to play 31 minutes. So if we just bump up his minutes to like the 28-30 mark, he's gone over in every single game. So I do really like this look. The Pelicans are a terrible team at limiting assists. They're terrible defense in general. But the 7.5 is why I'm locking this in. 100% hit rate. I was leaning the 8.5 just because he could end. I know these are much tougher matchups. But with this opening up at 7.5, I do feel a little safer, even though it's pretty juice. So I guess this is a secret prop, an official prop for everyone watching this video. I'm glad I had it on my leans list. I also was looking at Jock Landale in this game just because it's a really good matchup. His PR, I think, was at 19, 20.5 earlier. I'm not locking this in at 21.5. I bet on him in this game. I do not trust him again. I've also been telling my Discord about Vince Williams Jr.'s 8.5 line when it's right. I am passing on it again, but it does look like it's been bumped to 9.5. Also not a bad look. And I just completely stayed away from the Raptors-Blazers game. So many questionable players. I don't really know what to expect. I don't really like betting on the Raptors because there's so many mouths to feed. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for today's video. If you did enjoy how I analyze these props or just the video in general, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below what you liked, what props you're running, how I can improve these videos, or if you just completely disagree with me and want to give me some hate, that's welcome as well. But yeah, guys, that's all I got. Have a good day. Peace out.